Thank you all for coming to our TTC workshop series, creating your own bucket list. And we have a group of three wonderful students that were gracious enough to discuss a little bit about their own college experiences and then just provide some more insight as far as how to create your own college experiences based off involvements, organizations, or anything of that sort. So what we wanted to do first is I just want you all to introduce yourselves, tell your year as well as major.
I can go first. Hey, my name is Erica. I am a senior here at NSU, and I am an exercise and sports science major.
Hi, I'm Carlos Acacio. I'm a part of Fischler and Shark Teach. I'm a sophomore. I'm a computer science education major.
Hi, I'm Julie. I'm in Shark Teach and I'm also in Fischler. I'm an elementary education major and I'm a sophomore.
Thank you so much, Julie, Carlos, and Erica. So the first question I have for you all is what clubs, involvements, or internships have you done while you're at NSU?
So for me, I have been extremely involved, especially my last year at NSU. I am the social media chair of the Pre-PT Society here at NSU. I also do a lot of research here at NSU at the HPD Annex with Dr. Mocha and Dr. Silver. So I am basically a research assistant for both of them for their future publishings. One has to deal with the NFL draft pick. And so we train NFL players and we're looking to see how their jumping skills vary pre and post NFL draft training or combine training, should I say. And then for Dr. Silver, we're working on an MMA study for mixed martial artists and trying to really understand the kinetics and kinematics between the fighters and see like how we're able to kind of just study that more and make it more of a prevalent idea in the MMA world or the sports world. So that one is still like, we're still waiting to get approved for the IRB for that one. So it's a little all over the place right now. But so yeah, those are the things I've really been working on a lot. I've also was part of Relay for Life here at NSU during my sophomore year. I also was a peer leader, and of course I was an academic success coach as well. And I'm super involved with the TTC and everything that the TTC has to offer. So those are like my biggest involvements here at NSU.
For me, aside from being in Fischler and Shark Teach, well, I guess in Shark Teach, I'm a part of the social council where I will help plan and just make fun activities for us to do as a program. And then I'm also an academic success coach, obviously. And with that, again, I just meet with students and help them plan, organize, and just kind of help them get on the right track for their school life. And last year I was in Wave Club where we basically would fundraise, we would plan events and things such as that. Oh, and I'm involved in the TTC also.
Aside from Shark Teach and Fischler, I am first off, I'm a success coach. As Julie stated, we basically help other students, build like a path that's gonna fit them academically and their life, Then I am also part of what's called the esports club, which is basically playing video games at a competitive level. And I'm also part of the ACM, which is the biggest computing club like in the world. And it basically just provides opportunities to any computer science major or IT major for internships or stuff like that.
Thank you. And because you all are so involved in almost every single different thing, which is fantastic, what motivated you to select those opportunities over others?
So for me, my biggest thing, the thing I'm the most proud of is my research involvement here at NSU. I didn't really know, I forgot to mention earlier, I also did another research project on hydration status, but I did that when I was in like, it was through COVID time. So it was kind of difficult to perform like human subject research. So it just kind of slipped my mind. But I worked on 3 different research opportunities here at NSU. And what motivated me was the fact that I took a class, and my class was by Dr. Monique Moka, who I mentioned earlier. She has a PhD in biomechanics. And I was just obsessed with the idea of biomechanics and how to be able to implement that in my future as a physical therapist. And so I just said, if I'm going to be a PhD student or a candidate, I need to get my foot through the door when it comes to research. So I decided to reach out to all the different professors and say, hey, these are my goals. I want to get into a program in the distant future. So can you please help me? And honestly, it was the best decision of my life. I've made so many connections. I've met so many people that I've never thought I would meet before. And it just made me realize that I am on the right path to do what I want to do.
I think what motivated me to, for example, select working in the TTC and being an academic success coach is I wanted to make a difference and help out my fellow students, because I know I've been struggling, and I wish I had someone that would just kind of hold my hand and guide me through and just like lead a path to like what I'm supposed to be doing, because it's confusing sometimes. So just having someone there to guide you is such a great like friend and, you know, mentor to have. And just working in here, it's given me a lot of different opportunities to grow closer with my program and grow closer with all of the people I work with.
In my case, first off, I joined the esports club mainly because I've always been passionate about video games. It has somewhat of a connection with my major. So I'm a computer science, I program a lot. So it was kind of finding a fun way of, first off, doing what I've always loved to do, and second, also kind of like joining it with my major as programming. Then for the ACM, what really pushed me to join there, it was a good way of connecting with this, I guess, programming, computer science, and IT world that when I graduate, technically I'll join. And it's just a really good way of not only getting to know upperclassmen but also other past students that now have jobs like at Google, Apple, stuff like that. And it's just promotes really good opportunities. And for success coach, I always loved helping. And with my friends or just people that I have known, I would always advise them whenever they had problems organizing themselves. So they didn't know how to study for a test or for a class overall. So really pushed me to become a success coach.
That's great. And it seems like amongst all of these 3, it seems like connecting with other people and networking, as well as also doing something that you're really passionate about, is a reason why you join some of those involvement opportunities that you have as well. Another question that I have is, what is the biggest challenge of like balancing your involvement with schoolwork?
A lot of it is just simply time management and having a team or a group of people that, or a support system, should I better say, that is really strong. So I know that like I would never be able to reach my goals and have the opportunities that I have if it weren't for the support system that I have, especially at either, for me personally, the tutoring and testing center, or my racers family as well as like my exercise science family. If it weren't for them, then I wouldn't be able to kind of juggle everything. And also kind of just like sitting down with myself and realizing what's going to be prioritized and what's not going to be prioritized right now. So if I just want to have like, for me personally, like I had like for the undergraduate symposium, this literally happened like 2 weeks ago, where I was like, okay, so I could have a relaxing weekend and kind of just do no work and just kind of have like me time, or I could really work hard for the symposium to make sure that I get in and get everything I need to get done. So I obviously prioritize the symposium, and so I'm able to like present. And that, I don't think if I were able to prioritize that, then I wouldn't be able to go to get like kind of have that opportunity. So I think prioritizing your time is like a big deal when it comes to being so involved as a student here at NSU.
Yeah, Erica, I totally agree with you. I'm the same way. You know, sometimes it really just comes down to, I could sit in and I could, you know, work on this homework for hours upon hours and miss whatever's going on around me. where I can, study for a little bit, give myself a well-deserved break and go out and, hang out with my clubs and like go find new friends. And, like there's events happening all over this campus all the time. So there's definitely ways for you to get involved and meet new people.
I 100% agree with Erica and Julie. 100% time management and surrounding yourself with people that truly support you and promote for your improvement. It's really important, but also something that I guess I've always thought about is that I have to learn how to do things that I don't like how to do in order to get outside of my comfort zone. So all of those the clubs I'm in or doing work for those clubs or going to those events is saying no to maybe laying down in my bed and or sleeping really late and not waking up early. Is those things that I have to say no and sacrifice now my leisure time many times in order to be able to have those learning opportunities that will help me improve a lot.
Yeah, it's important. Like all of you are saying, time management and prioritizing is really helpful, especially if you want to achieve a really healthy school-life balance as well. And one question I have, I think you kind of did a really good segue with it too, Carlos, is have you joined something to realize that it wasn't a good fit with your interests or schedule?
Well, thankfully, out of everything I have tried, I thankfully have joined things that I have liked and things that have fit to my schedule. Thankfully, obviously, in the clubs I'm in, and or even in success coaching, they have been really able to. I have been really able to adapt my schedule to them. But they also, if I cannot do success coaching one day, I talk with Stephanie, and she's more than willing to change my times without a problem. So thankfully, yes, and I have been able to just fit in really well with everything I have been doing.
And if I could add to that, if you are like realizing that you've put too much on your plate, which it happens to a lot of people, where you thought you would be able to have some time for an extra club and it's just like overwhelming you, and like if you're stressed out over a club, you just need to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, this isn't making me happy. I need to sit here and realize that I don't have to be a part of every club. I don't have to be so involved all the time. I can just focus on myself. So I think finding that balance where you could still be involved and you could still like have time for yourself, that's what I think true time management is really about.
Yeah, I totally agree with Julie and all of that. I mean, when I first started, when I was a freshman and sophomore, I didn't really understand what was going on. In sophomore, I decided to spread myself way too thin. And that was definitely a lesson that I learned. And so I want to make sure that now the upcoming freshmen, or the freshmen going to, or should I say the freshmen that are now becoming sophomores, or sophomores going to junior year, that's a lesson that they learn without having to go through that. And to kind of just like follow our advice and saying like, no, like don't spread yourself too thin, because then you're not going to be able to do things that you enjoy later down the line, because you're going to be so busy doing other things. So.
And I think in addition to Erica, because you mentioned about spreading yourself thin, one question that we have, especially based off of the overall presentation, like creating your own college bucket list where you are opening up to new experiences or getting involved on campus. What do you feel like are some of the disadvantages when you aren't getting involved on campus or really taking those additional opportunities that are available at Nova?
So when you're uninvolved, a lot of where people don't realize it until it's too late. So I know a lot of people who are trying to apply to grad school and everything, and they're like looking at their resume and they're like, oh, I haven't done anything. And so it's going to be really hard, especially nowadays where getting into graduate school for anything is super, super competitive. So you have to make sure that you are having like proper involvement. And so it's not only just to build your resume though, like there's also the social aspect of you get to make new connections, you get to meet new people, you get to have new opportunities through those people that you never thought you would be able to have. If it weren't for me reaching out to just one professor, I wouldn't have met different NFL players. So that's something I never would have thought of, but it's something that's super cool. And something that I was able to even talk about when I applied to grad school. So I think that's like an advantage to joining different clubs and everything. And the disadvantage is that you just miss out on a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing is like when you go out and you go to different events on campus, you're meeting all these new people. And just yesterday, I was hearing like people talk about, oh, you're in the nursing program, so am I. Like, what teachers do you have? And it's such a great way to sit there and connect with your peers. And like, that's one thing I love about being in Shark Teach is I have like upperclassmen above me that will help me anytime I need it with like choosing the right professors, choosing which classes I should take, and things like that. That's where, getting involved comes in handy and really like helps you in the long run.
I also, adding to that, I feel like it is also a really good way of just making your college experience much better and much enjoyable. I remember my my freshman year with COVID being, I mean, it's obviously still going on, but being so heavy at that time, there was really no events or nothing really going on anytime. Everything was through Zoom. And at one point it just became tedious having to look at a camera like 24/7 and really not going out. So after that's an example, like from my freshman year, I started going more events, like when events started happening, I started going to events, everything. And I just noticed that my college experience had become much better as I had started meeting much more people. And as Julie and Erica said, also that adds background to your resume, and also you start getting to know some of your peers.
And one more question that I have for you all. I know we talked a lot about different when it comes to disadvantages, like why you joined some of your organization or some of your additional involvement. But what other advice would you give for just incoming freshman students or anyone who wants to get involved on campus and expand their college experience?
I would say first off to be open-minded. Maybe there's something that you look at that club and you're like, that's definitely not my fit. You literally don't lose anything by trying out. For example, like there's so many things you can do, and maybe you have never done that. Maybe, I don't know, there's a sport you have never played, but you're somewhat attracted to it. But the fact that you haven't played it pushes you out. So be open-minded, try out new things. Is, worst case scenario, maybe you don't like it, okay, you leave the club, that's fine. So yeah, definitely be open-minded.
I don't know if it's too cliche to say, but we're here for a good time, not a long time. So you got to make sure that you just get out there. It's as simple as like, oh my gosh, there's a food festival, let's go to it. Like you and me. And it's just as simple as doing that, and just putting like, not forcing yourself, but I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna meet new people. I'm gonna go to the UC. I should start studying there more. So just making those positive affirmations and putting those down on paper can really help, like, kind of keep yourself in check and be like, oh, I was supposed to go do that. So just positive affirmations.
If I had to give any advice, it would be that don't let one bad experience at an event that you decide to attend or at a club that you decide to join define the rest of your college career. As well as don't sit and dwell over it, whether it be just a bad experience or whether it be a bad test score or anything like that. Those little things are not what define you, and they're not going to stop you in your tracks. Like, that shouldn't be such a big adversity. If anything, that should just push you to want to do something better and even greater. And anything that is meant to happen to you will happen to you. So if you had a bad experience doing event X, then that means that it led you to be able to be involved in event Y. And now you're like the president of a club. Like, the world works in such weird ways that for that to happen is not out of the ordinary. So just be kind of how Carlos said earlier, like, be open-minded to it. Don't let anything stop you. And don't let any adversities get in your way.
Thank you so much, guys, for just like being so open and discussing your college experiences. Thank you all so much for attending the TC Workshop series. Please keep up to date on our social media on Instagram, NSU_TTC, as well as NSU_SI for any other updates as well. But we're also active on our YouTube page, NSU TTC. So thank you all so much for coming. And thank you so much to the panelists as well.